We're going to start with a very popular drum of today, popular in the sense that the djembe, over the last 20 years or so, has gained a great deal of popularity in America. Prior to that, I should say North America. Prior to that, Europeans in France and in England had privy to this particular drum, because world music actually was introduced into Europe several years before we North Americans were able to understand the concept of world music. So therefore, the countries, the Francophone countries, such as Senegal, Mali, Guinea, and Ivory Coast, were exporting their music to Europe, primarily also into nightclubs, also into dance schools, drumming concerts and whatnot. Then later in the sense of, I'd say perhaps maybe 10 years had passed, and then we became very much aware of Afro-pop and quote-unquote world music. But I'm going to do something relatively basic today so that you can understand like a bit about the djembe, and not a long detailed history of the djembe, because the djembe does have a very long history going back some 300 years or more. Now, this particular djembe was made in Mali, and it's a very nice djembe, and it's also one that we use it for accompaniment. Accompaniment in the sense that there are the jun, which plays the basic rhythm, or what we might refer to as the clave, the pattern which all the other drummers relate to. Then we have the accompaniment, which also plays a secondary rhythm, which is the basic pattern for which the lead drummer is able to solo or improvise or mark the dance steps by accenting on his drum. Also, we have this particular drum. It's not as pitched as high as the lead or the master drummer's drum is played, because we want to create a harmony between the accompaniment drums and also the jun. But however, what we're going to get started with is a simple pattern that we use for weddings. Particularly the Senegalese use this particular rhythm for weddings, which we call the lamba. They also use this particular rhythm and pattern in Guinea as well. So we start with the open tones. Hand is near the edge of the drum up to the bridge of the hand, this being the bridge of the hand. Okay, so that goes all the way up, okay, to the edge of the drum, and the fingers are slightly spread. Then we have a high tone. We contract the fingers slightly, and so therefore it has a bit more of a metallic and sharper sound than the open tone. Open, high, open, high. Then we also have a bass note, which is very resonant. So we have open, high, bass. Once again, open, high, bass. Open, high. So hand is flat, contract for the high tones, flat for the bass. Let's go back again. Flat for the open tone, contraction slightly for the high tones, flat again for the bass. Okay, if you notice my hand is sliding forward, very much like that of a trombone player. In order to achieve different notes, you move the hand forward and back for your notes. So here's the hand there for the open, slightly forward for the high, a bit more for the bass.